to see you. I hope you're doing well. It is a beautiful, beautiful morning. JW, hello, hello. Morning, y'all nuts. Hey, I'm going to try to get this right, but it's Bebola? Beboli? Beboli. I would just say Beboli. I could be wrong, but good to see you. Good morning, King Paco. Sir, how are you? I am doing all right. JW, good to see you. Oh my gosh, Mary Wolves. Yes, it is a good morning. It's going to be great. You took my you took my morning whiz off the back porch. Shit, I think neighbor saw me. Good to see you, Tease T. It is a good morning. It is a beautiful morning today. Just a second. Let me try something here. I'll give it a little bit of mood lighting. My Lord Almighty. Oh boy. Am I still muted? I hope I'm not muted. Yeah, see, that's why I muted it. So you guys wouldn't hear that. Am I muted really? Hmm. Volume is super low. See, I've been having issues with this damn thing, and more. I think I know what it is. Give me a second. It's not supposed to do that. Yep, it is super low. There we go. There's the volume we were looking for. Good morning, everybody. That should be much better. Why is it not saving this whenever I turn off the damn thing? I don't know why this does this. We will get it figured out. Save settings. It just gives me a damn hard time. I'll figure it out eventually. It's like a whiz on the beach. Look at the chat. We can hear you, brother. I know. You should be able to now. You should be able to hear me just fine now. That's the goal, is to not have any problems. So it's the weirdest thing. Yeah, much better. Excellent. Man. So of course, a few you fine folks came by and watched the Biden speech. It was insane, crazy, bad. Watching the absolute silliness of it. But there's more. There's more, because they're going to tell you didn't see what you just saw. Been having the same issues. Well, it does happen. They do make a pill for that. Oh my God. So of course this is what they will be talking about today in the news. And Biden delivers a call to defend democracy as he lays out his reasons for quitting the race, which were incomprehensible. I couldn't understand what the hell he was talking about. But what it says is he's leaving because the defense of democracy is, we're a republic yet again, is more important than any title. To deliver a repudiation of former President Donald Trump. He did not directly call it Trump, which he has called an existential threat to democracy. The reason he didn't is because last time he did that, someone took a shot at him. The 10-minute address also gave Biden a chance to try to shape how history will remember his one and only horrible, ruined term in office. Nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy or something like that. This number go to his 50 years spent in public office, and it includes ambition, personal ambition. Yes, that's what it's all about. Lyndon Johnson did not seek re-election because of his horrible debauchery in Vietnam. Only time he called us a republic was last night. Yeah. And that was after he was quoting somebody else, one that he could not deny. It is crazy to me that his speech was supposed to be some sort of marker at the end of his career, if you want to call it that, which it wasn't. it was not a good marker. It was not a good sign. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And that is the way that it goes. You know, the silliness of it all is that he, unlike a lot of these other people, is probably the worst, in my lifetime, the worst president. The amount of wars that have been caused by what he's done, the things that he says don't add up. They don't make a whole lot of sense. He's caused division amongst his own party. And I was surprised that he didn't get called out for his garbage with Netanyahu, whatever you want to call him. He says he reveres the office, but he loves his country more. Oh. And just an hour earlier at a campaign rally, revived his baseless claims of voter fraud. It doesn't matter. He's allowed to say that. Biden skirted the political reality that brought him to that point. The abysmal performance in a debate against Trump nearly a month ago, where he barely could speak. They wanted to say, oh, it was because he was traveling. It was because he was tired. When Gavin Newsom becomes born again evangelical Christian 2025. Thank you, Trump. Big log cabins, Republicans. Yeah, it was a sad, sad exit. It was so sad. It was so sad to watch that he showed very little that gave, I think, American voters confidence that he should even remain in his position. And, you know, it was very clear that he's not capable of handling another 4 years, let alone how he's managed to run these past 3.5. He thinks that this is the best way to unite our nation. Yeah. The president has sought to use the address to outline the stakes of the election. The great thing about America here, kings and dictators do not rule. Correct. That's why we're a republic and not a democracy. If we were a democracy, you would have kings and queens. You think you're not being run by kings and queens? Shit. Harris advisors ultimately have to decide how to deploy the president. That's weird. Whose popularity has sagged to 0, or like the low single percent points. Of course, Jean-Pierre said Biden has no regrets about his decision to stay in the race as long as he did. His decision to quit it over the weekend. She said Biden's decision had nothing to do with his health. Sure. He spoke inside the Oval Office, and that is a freaking lie. Sorry, I call that out. That was a freaking lie. If you want me to believe he was speaking from inside the Oval Office, I don't buy it for a second. Go back and watch some of my streams whenever I was having construction done on this room. You can watch the sunrise behind me. At 8:15 to however long he spoke, it was way too long in my opinion. The sunlight never changed on the trees behind him. So 8:15, it looked like a nice day out. And as the sun set, it didn't change. Stayed lit the same amount. So if you're trying to tell me that he wasn't inside of a control booth, then, well, you've got better thoughts about him than me. And of course, now the everything shifts to Harris, or as everyone likes to call her, Camel Toe. Harris is starting to vet her potential running mates. And this, I guess, is supposed to be her top pick of running mates. Yeah. This is who they want to see. They've got Roy Cooper, Mark Kelly, and Josh Shapiro, and who else? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know any of these people. Yeah, they don't look like they're going to do much good. They're going to do. Her party could make its nominee as soon as August 1st in a virtual vote. Imagine that. A virtual vote. Which means they're going to do it online. Harris's goal, according to people with knowledge of the matter, is to keep the process drama-free. Sweetheart, you brought the drama. If her advisors were smart, pick the Pennsylvania governor. That's probably true. He has some crazy lighting in there. Yeah, I mean that's some crazy lighting on the White House. It especially whenever you don't get any reflection on the glass. It's almost like that glass wasn't there. One person claimed the White House lighting was on last night. Sure. Yeah. Biden bowed to pressure from his own party to step aside, leaving a historically compressed timeline for her to make a selection before next month's Democrat National Convention. Harris's goal, according to the people with knowledge of the matter, is to keep the process drama-free. She brings too much drama. While much of the political conversation is centered on four names, Senator Mark Kelly, Josh Shapiro, Andy Beshear, and Roy Cooper, Harris's team has requested information from about a dozen officials, according to people who spoke on a condition of anonymity to discuss the confidential process. Well, and here's the thing. The reason that they're doing this is because they've already picked out who it was. It's to get people excited about it. That's all. And I was talking with Rosalind about this last night, and Rosalind was just like, it's amazing to me that not even a week after that, they had Harris for president, Harris mugs, coffee cups that they were selling out. She had all this swag. Now, you don't make that overnight. That takes quite some time of planning and getting them cooked and prepped, and you get them sent over from China, all that kind of stuff. So it's taken quite some time to get those things put together. Now, if you think that they don't already have the swag put together for her running mate, well, then you're just fooling yourself. It's already there. It's already been done. Didn't AI run the cameras and editing? Yeah. Most of that have said not interested already. Yeah. The broader list includes Buttigieg, Raimondo, Pritzker, Whitmer, and Walz. And you notice who they don't have in there. You don't see Newsom in there. You got Eric Holder, the former U.S. Attorney General, and a team of lawyers in his firm, Covington and Burling, are taking the lead on vetting potential choices. Typically, those under consideration are asked to turn over financial records and records of past political stances and speeches that they are asked to submit to interviews with lawyers to identify potential red flags. Trump campaign spokesperson Stephen Chung was asked by reporters during a rally on Wednesday whether the former president had said anything about Harris as possible running mate. And there's a short list of governors and senators, and they're all interchangeable. It doesn't matter. Well, it's like Trump already has said, yes, I know who my pick is going to be, but we're not going to do anything until it gets closer. He kept teasing his announcement to get people excited. That's all they're doing. It's They already know. It's no surprise to them. They knew this was going to happen. But if they come out and say it, yes, we've had this planned for a while. It really shits on Biden's look of him stepping down and gracefully and knowing that he was going to move her in position of power. Of course, here is as they talk about, the fight to define Harris is on, and for now, Republicans are dominating the Democrats on the airwaves. No, they're dominating the Democrats on substance. Like you don't even have to worry about the airwaves. The Democrats have already defined themselves. It's just the Republicans are exposing that. They've already said that they want to kill your children, that they want to chop your children, and that they want to get rid of any sort of benefits to you in prospering. It is not about the quality of your character. It is about the color of your skin. They want to make sure that every single thing that they do is about destroying Americans. They've done it. They've said it themselves. They are a party of violence. They are a party of destruction. As much as they sit there and say, we want to tone down the rhetoric, but you're the ones that have the rhetoric and constantly have the rhetoric. You want to tone down problems and issues with it, it is the party that has been doing this the whole time. Just days after her new role in the Democrat Party's likely presidential nominee, Camel Toe is facing a wave of Republican-backed attack as ads questioning her personality, her progressive record, and what she knew about Joe Biden's decline. But as many that are doing that, there's many that just don't care. See, that's what the news cycle doesn't understand. They're trying to define what I think and what I believe, and it's not true. Overall, Trump and his allies are outspending Harris's team 25-1 on television. Not for long. Stunning disparity reflects actual spending for this week and reservations for subsequent weeks, but most certainly will change in the coming days. But for now, the numbers highlight the dangerous imbalance. It's not about how you spend, it's about the message that gets out there. Public opinion is like cement. It's soft at first, and then it hardens. Okay. The next 3 weeks are definitive. She needs to define herself before Trump defines her. He doesn't. Jesus Christ. What did I just say? Don't you listen. Trump doesn't have to define her. She already defined herself. Anything that she changes outside of that, they will know is just an absolute BS lie. She's already defined herself. She's already described what she is. Biden is transitioning out of peacefully and patriotically. Yeah. I will say the Dems are great at fuckery. Which would include this contingency play. They half duped us into thinking Biden was going to run. Yeah, imagine that. Biden running. Yeah, we've seen Biden run. It looks like a puppet on strings. Asked about adversity disparity, advertising disparity. Oh, now it's disparity. Okay, again, you've defined yourself. See. I'll keep hammering this. This is what DEI. This is what DEI gets you. It gets you people like Harris, because they've been saying, oh, the Democrat Party, they're very diverse and they're just like they reflect the American people. Oh, they were editing in real time. If that wasn't pre-recorded, he wasn't looking anywhere close to the teleprompter on what was aired, and the replays showed him looking dead ahead. Yeah. Just play what she said about the border. That's all you have to do. Now, and I will agree, whenever whenever they say, oh, well, they never called her the border czar. That was what the Republicans called her. Okay, but she was still in charge of handling what was going on south of the border. Correct? Yes or no? If that's what she was in charge, and don't call it the border czar, just say she was in charge of what was going on at our southern border, and she failed at that miserably. She was in charge of handling this thing about women. She failed at that miserably. I mean, whenever you're telling women, just go and, delete your child, that's not really helping women. That's not healthy. Harris's team has the money to launch a robust advertising campaign whenever it wants to. Okay. Her campaign raised a jaw-dropping $100 million between Sunday and as of Monday night alone, and allies led by a super PAC, Future Forward, received donor commitments of $150. Those are just commitments. That's all that those are. So, whenever they're saying that she has $150 million in commitments, that's only if she runs. Because that $150 million in commitments is probably going to go to whomever runs and actually gets the nomination. Just because Biden wants to hand over the nomination to her in a DEI fashion does not mean that she gets it. I mean, more than likely she will, because you have a bunch of weak-ass little pansies in there. But hey, be a tough old elephant, dump that leopard. Good morning, Bebel Bowley. Best of luck for you today as well. Here's a question on the board. How had she not been to Europe? Has she ever been to Europe? I don't think she has been yet. Yeah, I don't think she has been as of yet. She ought to go and march with them in France. She should go march with them in France. No, I think she's been to Asia, at least South Asia. Isn't that where her mom is from? Mm-hmm. Obviously, advertising is important, and we'll pick up. That's the only factor," said Democrat status Josh Squarin. I'm not even going to try to say his name. With Harris taking over as presumptive nominee, she's getting wall-to-wall, largely positive coverage. You always need to take in context the entire media ecosystem. And still, some of Harris's attack ads may be beginning to shape the narrative. Oh, yeah, right. Biden allies privately raised concern about a new ad from Pennsylvania Republican Senate candidate Dave McCormick that describes Harris as the most liberal nominee ever. The ad highlighted her progressive positions on immigration, policing, energy, and healthcare. It even ends with audio of Harris's loud laugh, which has been frequently anybody's focus. That it's her focus. That's her voice. That's her laugh. That's her. That is all her. That is all her. It is a horrible laugh. It's scary. It is scary to listen to her laugh. There we go. That'll probably look a little bit better for you guys. Oh yeah, she already has YouTube ads. Those she's had those. Yeah, those have been out for some time. Democrats, meanwhile, just halted its advertising spending after devoting enormous sums to boost Biden in weeks and months before he dropped out. Overall, Biden's campaign. Now does it make sense? Now does it make sense? After the pew-pewing at Trump, that they stopped all spending. They pulled all their ads, which means they got some of that money back. So if you think that they didn't know after Trump was pew-pewed at, if you don't think that after that they decided to pull all their ads and pull all their funding, holy shit. Because it was the day after that Biden pulled every single bit of his funding. I think he knew then that was the time for him to drop out. Holy crap. Damn, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but holy shit. That sounds like a hell of a damn conspiracy to me. A hell of a damn conspiracy. That it wasn't until then that he pulled his funding. Oh boy. That's creepy. suppose Slow Joe finally is figuring out that his presidency truly was a show and that he was 100% was a puppet all along. Yeah, he was. You love my API readings. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Could be a boomer right on the line. While ad impact found that only about 2.6 million in Democrat-backed ad reservations through the end of August, the pro-Biden super PAC Future Forward is set to begin rolling out. Yeah. But for now, voters are... So they spent more than 136 million. 138 million. Holy shit. You know, that is a lot of damn money. That's a lot of hungry mouths that could have been fed. But for now, voters are only seeing presidential ads that knock Harris. One of them from MAGA Incorporated blames the vice president for a border invasion and runaway inflation. Yes. You don't have to really. All you have to do is point it out. That's all you got to do with Democrats is point out their failings. Same way with Republicans. If you want to watch a Republican like falter and start like getting mad, just point out their failings. It's really easy. It's like, see, look where you screwed up here. Kamala knew Joe couldn't do the job, so she did it, says the narrator in the spot that started running Sunday across Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona. They created this mess. No, Camel Toe owns this failed record. Yeah. His wristwatch shows just after 6 p.m., but he spoke after 8 p.m. Yes. Maybe it doesn't fit anymore. I don't know. Nice facial bruise. He definitely got two good talking tops from O'Hillary and then Hunter and Jill. Let's go, Brandon. You're right. I wonder if he lost it. Could have. Biden has no wedding ring on. Yeah. Why was Biden's watch different than the time he actually spoke last night? Weird. Yeah, and all these things will end up coming out in the wash. You'd be surprised how fast this stuff can happen. So of course, this becomes world news and not U.S. news. Which is where they would like to keep it. Netanyahu. Now, they don't like this guy. And it was very apparent whenever he was speaking with Congress. Most married men I know don't wear their wedding rings. Swollen hands. Two's a great word, I guess. Yeah. I wear mine constantly. Always. Yeah, it's you have a hard time seeing me without it. Yeah. Even whenever I'm working with my hands, which I do quite a bit, I still wear it. Probably not the safest, but hey. Fact focus look at Netanyahu's claims about Israel, Hamas, and Iran during his speech to Congress. Oh, and here's where they put the spin on it. Keep your mind off of what's coming next. This is a diversion, distraction. Keep your mind off what's coming next. Yes. That's because you rock. Well, thank you. I try to. A little bit, somewhat. Benjamin Netanyahu on Wednesday defended his country's conduct in the devastating Gaza war. He urged U.S. support to fight against Hamas and ridiculed protesters during the scathing address to Congress. Yes, he should have, as he should have ridiculed every single damn one of them. It was, they don't know what's going on in my country. They don't understand what's going on in Gaza. They are repeating the lies that they're being told. And this has happened before. This happened with the little German colonel, okay? Are these some fact checkers that constantly get debunked? Yeah, these are the same fact checkers that constantly get debunked. And one last thing. Jefferson commanded that we destroy tyranny. Yes. I have a friend and his wife put an inscription on the inside of each other's ring prior to the wedding. On the inside of his, it says, "Put it back on." That's pretty good, Stephen. I like it. But he cited an unverified intelligence report and ignored much of the criticism in a war that has killed tens of thousands and devastated Gaza. Okay. He cited an unverified intelligence report. Sweetheart, this has to be a woman. Oh, it is. It is. Laura Lee. Yeah. Laura Lee, I guarantee you, he has got more intelligence information than you can imagine. Sweetheart, working for the AP, get your head out of your ass or whoever's ass you have it shoved up, because it's not going to end well for you. Because you have no idea what you're talking about. This man has intelligence on probably a good amount of American senators and congressmen. I can almost guarantee you that man could walk into this room and shake hands and call each one of these congressmen by name and know their children, know who their family is, and know where they live and where they can be found. I guarantee you this guy has a lot more. Netanyahu showed what a leader is supposed to look like. He, last night, during his speech to Congress, showed exactly what a leader looks like. I've never heard him speak before. I don't follow this kind of stuff too much. Watching him last night, how he took control of the room, his control of speech, he sounded more American than 90% of the Americans you see with their bullshit rhetoric coming out. And this isn't even his country. My tone in response to Jefferson commanded us to destroy tyranny was disheartening. You don't believe? Trust me. Trust me. You have no idea. You have no idea. The fake Israel full of Aztec Eastern European converts by Kurt Waldman of the UN 48 one time being ex-SS colonel. Okay. Morning, that was a great speech from Netanyahu. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And of course, they're going to be pointing out the crowds of demonstrators that swelled outside the Capitol, burned American flags while they raised Palestinian flags, while they defaced public property. If you want to talk about tyranny, that was tyranny right there. With many protesting the killings. No. And they don't know what they're protesting, because they don't know the situation in that country. They never have. They're using talking points. Crowds of demonstrators swelled outside the capital of the Israeli leader spoke with many protesting the killings of, and this is all the same talking points, sweetheart. Whoever wrote this, it's all the same talking points. Netanyahu's ability to free American hostages taken by Hamas and other militants during the October 7th that sparked the conflict. But they don't mention, where in this story, in the very first part of the story, do they talk about how Netanyahu spoke about it, how they walked into a music festival, a time of celebration, and they slaughtered. And what they didn't slaughter, they took as hostages. Where in here does it talk about this? And we're talking about Americans. We're talking about people from all walks of life. That they came in and they slaughtered every single one of them. I've seen the videos. It's horrendous. Where people are gasping their last breath and they just pop them. They considered them dogs and garbage, and they wanted to make sure that they made a statement. Well, they made their statement, and retribution came, and they didn't like that. And now they've got Americans duped into thinking that because they support Hamas, and because they support Hamas, they don't even know that because of their beliefs, they would be tossed into a fiery pit. They would be stoned. They'd be thrown off buildings. They would be completely annihilated because they do not believe you. You still haven't heard the speech? Oh, you missed it last night. I played it last night, son. It is unbelievable. His speech last night was good. And what I may do is I may end up playing it again today. The claim, Israel has enabled more than 40,000 aid trucks to enter Gaza. Yes, that is true. That's 500,000 tons of food, and that's more than the 3,000 calories for every man, woman, and child in Gaza. But, and here's where their fact-checking comes in, Israel initially imposed a complete siege on Gaza in the early days of the war, and under U.S. pressure gradually eased it. No, these are lies that you were told. This is the problem. You're doing fact checks on somebody that has already showed, he's got the receipts, sweetheart. You don't. You've got the talking points that Gaza has been telling you. To say ongoing Israeli military operations in fighting with Hamas and lawlessness makes it too difficult to operate. UN officials say criminal gangs have targeted aid trucks. They have. They tried to send aid in there. But last night with you and Yamaha was fire. Yes. Yeah, their source is Hamas. You know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run through a couple of these other news stories, and we're going to listen to Netanyahu's speech because I think that deserves a serious repeating. And it's also going to point out that something that I'm gonna not show that one. Let me see. I'm going through this really quick. This is one that's gonna get me in trouble, but I'm gonna do this really quick. This will be something that I may talk about at a later point in time. Not probably tonight. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save this particular one, I think, for tonight, because this is something pretty important. This is pretty important, and I'm going to talk about it later tonight. I think you guys deserve to hear this over again. I think it's very important to listen to what Netanyahu had to say. Netanyahu, whatever they want to call him. Let me see, history, because that speech was good. All right, and we're going to bring that into here, and I'm going to share this tab. There we go. Be prepared, you fine folks, if you want to hang out and listen to this speech, because I think it's pretty important, and you should listen to what he has to say. This is what a true leader looks like whenever they're speaking to the American people. This is what people would hope that their leader sounds like whenever they're speaking to people. They can only hope to achieve this level of control Yeah, be prepared for deja vu. Sorry. It's going to happen. Here we go. Mm. Oh, yeah.
Members of Congress, I now have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel.
Oh, yeah. This is about to set you off. Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Look, it's the inside of a federal prison, right? No, damn it.
Thank you. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Senator Ben Cardin, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, Senators, Members of Congress, distinguished guests. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me the profound honor of addressing this great citadel of democracy for the fourth time. We meet today at a crossroads of history. Our world is in upheaval. In the Middle East, Iran's axis of terror confronts America, Israel, and our Arab friends. This is not a clash of civilizations. It's a clash between barbarism and civilization. It's a clash between those who glorify death and those who sanctify life. For the forces of civilization to triumph, America and Israel must stand together.
No, it doesn't.
Because when we stand together, something very simple happens. We win, they lose.
Mm-hmm.
And my friends, I came to assure you today of one thing. We will win. Ladies and gentlemen, like December 7th, 1941, and September 11th, 2001, October 7th is a day that will forever live in infamy. It was the Jewish holiday of Simchat Torah. It began as a perfect day, not a cloud in the sky. Thousands of young Israelis were celebrating at an outdoor music festival. And suddenly, at 6:29 a.m., as children were still sleeping soundly in their beds in the towns and kibbutzim next to Gaza, suddenly heaven turned into hell. 3,000 Hamas terrorists stormed into Israel. They butchered 1,200 people from 41 countries, including 39 Americans. Proportionately, compared to our population size, that's like 20 9/11s in one day.
You understand that they never fact-checked this. They never fact-checked this. AP never did. And I'll call out every single bit of their bull that they're talking about, and we're going to get to their fact-checking as they talk about as we go down through here. Give me just a second. I want to make sure I don't have anything else in here. Okay. What they left out. Yeah, their fact-checking is like 3 things. That's the only thing that they're looking at. These 3 things that they wrote their whole story. Okay. How many 9/11s? 20. It was like 20 9/11s. If you're wondering what he said that is like having 20 9/11s. If you have to understand that Israel is not a very large country. We have more people living in New York than we have living in Israel. Like the whole country. So if you put that into comparison, how large of a scale of an attack that was and how many lives were lost, that's what he's trying to give you the perspective of. It was devastating. This is people who had to watch their children be removed. These are children that had to watch their parents be removed because they do not like their religion. Yeah, a percentage.
And these monsters, they raped women.
Yes.
They beheaded men.
Yes.
They burned babies alive. They killed parents in front of their children. And children in front of their parents.
Yeah.
They dragged 255 people, both living and dead, into the dark dungeons of Gaza. Israel has already brought home 135 of these hostages, including 7 who were freed and during rescue operations.
So every time you see one of these people wearing one of their little scarves that's denoting that they agree that this should have happened. Every time someone comes out there and they're talking about, oh, free Palestine, just remember they are supporting all of this. They are supporting that happening. They don't know it, but that's what they're doing. And Netanyahu gets to it. Oh, yeah. He gets to it in a fiery way. And we may skip over the people that he introduced, because there's a few people he introduced that are there with him that managed to get pulled out of there.
One of those freed hostages, Noor Gamani, is here in the gallery, sitting near my wife Sarah. On the morning of October 7th, the entire world saw Noah's look of desperation as she was violently abducted to Gaza.
Yes.
On the back of a motorcycle. I met Noah's mother, Leora, a few months ago. She was dying of cancer. She said to me, Prime Minister, I have one final wish. I wish to hug my daughter Noah one last time before I die.
That's funny.
2 months ago, I authorized a breathtaking commando rescue operation. Our special forces, including a heroic officer named Arnonz Morat, who fell in this battle, rescued Noah and 3 other hostages.
So one of their soldiers lost his life rescuing her.
Noah, I think it's one of the most moving things. When Noah was reunited with her mother Leora, and her mother's last wish.
Exactly.
Noah, we're
That's
so
funny.
thrilled to have you with us today. Thank you.
Well, I'll point something out. There's that's a cultural thing. More than likely, he doesn't have anything on the back of those pages. And yes, that's why he's doing it that way. It also may be something cultural where he doesn't turn over the paper because he doesn't want it to be finished. That is a positive. I don't know, but I think it's more of a cultural thing. Like, he doesn't carry around a binder. He probably has the speaking points that he's going to be talking about, because what the words that are written down on there, it seems more like he's just got speaking points. The rest of it is coming pretty much straight from his heart. He doesn't have a teleprompter up there. It's not like he's Biden where he has to have teleprompters to say what he means to say. No binder. I know, no binder.
Many hostage families are also here with us today, including Eliyahu Bibas. Eliyahu Bibas is the grandfather of those 2 beautiful red-headed boys, the Bibas boys, toddlers. And they were taken hostage.
Yes, savages.
With their mother and and Eliyahu's son. The entire family was taken hostage. 2 beautiful red-haired children taken hostage. What monsters. And with us also is Iris Chaim, whose son Yotam bravely escaped Hamas captivity with 2 other Israelis, and tragically they were killed, making their way back to our lives. We have with us also the families of American hostages. They're here.
To point it out, that's all.
The pain these families have endured is beyond words. I met with them again yesterday, and I promised them this: I will not rest until all their loved ones are home. All of them.
Oh, and this is that's the other thing. They're showing the protesters and their actions. Yeah. Did you idiots understand that? American hostages. Oh no, they didn't understand that. The idiots don't understand that there's still American hostages there.
As we speak, we're actively engaged in intensive efforts to secure their release, and I'm confident that these efforts can succeed. Some of them are taking place right now.
Yes.
I want to thank President Biden for his tireless efforts on behalf of the hostages and for his efforts to the hostage families as well.
And I'll also point this out. Once you see it, it'll become very obvious. Notice that these people over here aren't standing. And notice that there's people here and here and here and behind them that are not standing. They refuse to stand because they don't support this at all. But right now you're getting more support for him than Joe Biden did whenever he got up and spoke in his address the nation or whatever speech that he had. That's pretty sad. That Netanyahu's getting more support from Congress than our current president.
I thank President Biden for his heartfelt support for Israel after the savage attack on October 7th. He rightly called Hamas sheer evil. He dispatched 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East to deter a wider war. And he came to Israel to stand with us during our darkest hour, a visit that will never be forgotten.
Yeah, you see him sitting?
President Biden and I have known each other for over 40 years. I want to thank...
This is probably going to mess you up. Chickens for KFC Maureen. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes. Now, I would say, think about how many protesters are here. You probably have about the same amount that were deleted on October 7th. Just imagine if every single one of those protesters, if they weren't deleted, that they were captured by the enemy. And even though we disagree with them, America would still defend them.
Thank him for half a century of friendship.
This is about to get on fire right here.
Being, as he says, a proud Zionist. Actually, he says a proud Irish American Zionist.
That's what Biden said to Netanyahu. That's what he said. He's a proud Zionist. Ouch.
My friends, for more than 9 months, Israel's soldiers have shown boundless courage. With us today is Lieutenant Avichai Reuven. Avichai is an officer in the Israeli paratroopers. His family immigrated to Israel from Ethiopia. In the early hours of October 7th, Avichai heard the news of Hamas's bloody rampage. He put on his uniform, grabbed his rifle, but he didn't have a car. So he ran 8 miles to the front lines of Gaza to defend his people. You heard that right. He ran 8 miles, came to the front lines, killed many terrorists, and saved many, many lives. Avichai, we all honor your remarkable heroism. Another Israeli is with us here today, and he's stand up right next to Avichai. This is Master Sergeant Ashraf al-Bakhiri. Ashraf is a Bedouin soldier from the Israeli Muslim community of Raz. On October 7th, Ashraf too killed many terrorists. First he defended his comrades in the military base, and he then rushed to defend the neighboring communities, including the devastated community of Kibbutz Be'eri. Like Ashraf, the Muslim soldiers of the IDF fought alongside their Jewish, Druze, Christian, and other comrades in arms with tremendous bravery. A third hero, Lieutenant Asa Sofer, is also here with us.
What's with the ketchup? They're protesting. That's it. Yeah.
Asa fought as an officer in the Tank Corps, and he was wounded in battle. He was wounded in battle while protecting his fellow soldiers from a grenade. He lost his right arm and the vision in his left eye. He's recovering, and incredibly, within a short time, Asa will soon return to active duty as a commander of a tank company.
Protesters smell. Yes, that's why they use the ketchup. So you don't notice the smell of the meat.
I just learned there is a fourth hero here, Lieutenant Jonathan Ben Hamel, who lost a leg in Gaza and continued to fight.
Yeah. And here's where it comes. Fact checking is about to come in.
My friends, these are the soldiers of Israel, unbowed, undaunted, unafraid. As the Bible says, Am kilavi yakum. They shall rise like lions. They have risen like lions. The lions of Judah, the lions of Israel.
Yes. Billy Raven at the time. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the men and women of the IDF
Yeah, brave
come
and
from
bold.
every corner of Israeli society, every ethnicity, every color, every creed, left and right,
Yep.
religious and secular. All are imbued with the indomitable spirit of the Maccabees, the legendary Jewish warriors of antiquity. With us today is Yechiel Leiter, the father of one of those Maccabees. Yechiel's father escaped the Holocaust and found refuge in America. As a young man, Yechiel moved to Israel and raised a family of 8 children. He named his eldest son, Moshe, after his late father. Moshe became an exemplary officer in one of our elite commando units. He served with distinction for 2 decades, while raising 6 beautiful children of his own. On October 7th, Moshe volunteered to return to combat. 4 weeks later, he was killed when a booby-trapped mine exploded in a tunnel shaft right next to a mosque. At his son's funeral, Yechiel said this: "If the state of Israel had not been established after the Holocaust, the image engraved in our collective memory would have been the photograph of that helpless Jewish boy in the Warsaw Ghetto holding his hands up in the air with Nazi rifles pointed at him. But because of the birth of Israel, Yechiel continued, because of the courage of soldiers like my son Moshe, the Jewish people are no longer helpless in the face of our enemies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, knows who doesn't stand.
Yechiel, please rise so we can honor your son's sacrifice. And I pledge to you and to all the bereaved families of Israel, some of whom are in this hall today, the sacrifice of your loved ones will not be in vain. It will not be in vain.
Yeah.
Because for Israel, never again must never be an empty promise. It must always remain a sacred vow. And after October 7th, never again is now.
Why do they wear red?
Defeating our brutal enemies
It's to show their communist beliefs. That's why they wear the red.
requires both courage and clarity. Clarity begins by knowing the difference between good and evil. Yet incredibly, many anti-Israel protesters, many choose to stand with evil.
Here it goes. All right. We get to the first claim, and I'll bring this up for you guys so you can understand, and you can put into context what he says. Okay? Put into context what he says as compared to what they say. Seriously, Senator Christian Schumer wearing that frigate dress for a foreign leader? Yes. Here we go. Here is the AP's fact check, or what they claim is a fact check. Claim, I have a message for these protesters. When the tyrants of Tehran, who hang gays from cranes and murder women for not covering their hair, are praising, promoting, and funding, you have officially become Iran's useful idiots. But here is what their fact check says. Netanyahu provided no evidence that Iran is funding protesters. That was all he had to say. That's their fact check. That's what they focused on for a fact check. Iran is becoming increasingly aggressive in their foreign influence efforts, seeking to stoke discord and undermine confidence in our democratic institutions, Haynes said. I don't know who in the hell Haynes is. Using social media platforms, blah, 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 blah. Don't see this right here is Iran is the only country seeking to influence American discord ahead of the 2024 election. During a briefing with reporters this month, the television officials say Americans' adversaries were looking to harness AI to dramatically expand what does this have to do with? Demonstrations over the offensives emerged on university campuses across the U.S. Protests became a factor in campaigns outside agitators, as well as worries about larger regional. So their fact check, the only thing that they're claiming that their facts don't show is that Netanyahu couldn't provide any proof that Iran is funding protesters. That's their fact check. But let's listen to all that he says about this. So the rest of it is that the tyrants of Tehran hang gays from cranes and murder women for not covering their hair. Didn't prove it in his speech. Who cares? It's true. Exactly. He doesn't have to provide proof. The proof is that these people, yeah, you'll just listen to what he says. He says it much more eloquently than I can.
They stand with Hamas. They stand with rapists and murderers. They stand with people who came into the kibbutzim, into a home. The parents hid the children, the 2 babies, in the attic, in a secret attic. They murder the families, the parents. They find the secret latch to the hidden attic, and then they murder the babies. These protesters stand with them. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Morning, Kern. Good morning, Captain Kern. Each one of these people out there should be ashamed. And notice who's not standing. Right there, front and center. Notice who's not there.
They refuse to make the simple distinction between those who target terrorists and those who target civilians, between the democratic state of Israel and the terrorist thugs of Hamas. We recently learned from the National Security Director, U.S. Director of National Intelligence, that Iran is funding and promoting anti-Israel protests in America. They want to disrupt America.
And you want me to replay that so you can hear it again, what their fact checkers say is not true. Listen to it again.
The Security Director, U.S. Director of National Intelligence, that Iran is funding and promoting anti-Israel protests in America. They want to disrupt America. So these protesters burn American flags even on the 4th of July. And I wish to salute the fraternity brothers at the University of North Carolina who protected the American flag against these anti-Israel protesters.
So why don't they talk to these fact checkers? Need to maybe go verify that with the National Security Director. That would be an idea. Morning, Brandon Lesko. How you doing? Good to see you, man.
For all we know, Iran is funding the anti-Israel protests that are going on right now outside this building. Not that many, but they're there.
Oh.
The city.
Oh.
Well, I have a message for these protesters.
Here's his message.
When the tyrants of Tehran, who hang gays from cranes and murder women for not covering their hair, are praising, promoting, and funding you, you have officially become Iran's useful idiots.
And we'll back it up there a little bit so you can see. I think someone did a phone trace, and a few hundred of these protesters were also at a Milwaukee rally. Someone's funding these commie groups. Yeah, watch the people that do not applaud, do not stand up, do not agree with this, as well as your current vice president. There's a reason why she didn't show up. Because she wants these people's votes. Because she stands against one of our allies. See who's not paying any attention? This little group over here. This little group over here. Yeah. They don't agree with this. Notice how they switched the camera.
Some of these protesters, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. Some of these protesters hold up signs proclaiming gays for Gaza. They might as well hold up signs saying chickens for KFC. These protesters chant from the river to the sea, but many don't have a clue what river and what sea they're talking about.
No lie.
They not only get an F in geography, they get an F in history. They call Israel a colonialist state. Don't they know that the land of Israel is where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob prayed, where Isaiah and Jeremiah preached, and where David and Solomon ruled? For nearly 4,000 years, the land of Israel has been the homeland of the Jewish people. It's always been our home. It will always be our home. It's not only the campus protesters who get it wrong. It's also the people who run those campuses. 80 years after the Holocaust, 80 years after the Holocaust, the presidents of Harvard, Penn, and I'm ashamed to say my alma mater, MIT, couldn't bring themselves to condemn the calls for the genocide of Jews. You remember what they said?
Yeah, we do.
They said, it depends on the context. Well, let me give these befuddled academics a little context.
Oh, yeah, here it comes.
Anti-Semitism is the world's oldest hatred. For centuries, the massacre of Jews was always preceded by wild accusations. We were accused of everything from poisoning wells, to spreading plagues, to using the blood of slaughtered children to bake Passover matzahs. These preposterous anti-Semitic lies led to persecution, mass murder, and ultimately to history's worst genocide, the Holocaust. Now, just as malicious lies were leveled for centuries at the Jewish people, malicious lies are now being leveled at the Jewish state. No, don't applaud. Listen. The outrageous slanders that paint Israel as racist and genocidal are meant to delegitimize Israel, to demonize the Jewish state, and to demonize Jews everywhere. And no wonder we've witnessed an appalling rise of anti-Semitism in America and around the world. My friends, whenever and wherever we see the scourge of anti-Semitism, we must unequivocally condemn it and resolutely fight it, without exception.
Oh, you notice there's quite a few that don't stand up for that.
And don't be fooled when the blood libels against the Jewish state come from people who wear fancy silk robes and speak in lofty tones about law and justice. Here's a case in point. The prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has shamefully accused Israel of deliberately starving the people of Gaza. This is utter, complete nonsense. It's a complete fabrication.
Here's the next fact check coming.
Israel has enabled more than 40,000 aid trucks to enter Gaza. That's 500,000 tons of food.
And we'll bring up their little, here's their fact check. We'll bring this up. This is what he says. He says, Israel's enabled more than 40,000 aid trucks to enter Gaza. That's 500,000 tons of food. That's more than 3,000 calories for every man, woman, and child in Gaza. If there are Palestinians in Gaza who aren't getting enough food, it's not because Israel is blocking it. It's because Hamas is stealing it. And then, of course, their fact check on this. Well, listen to the rest of his speech. Well, of course he looks at the Republicans more than the Dems because he doesn't want to look at people that don't support him. Their fact check is this. Israel initially opposed a complete siege on Gaza in the early days of the war and under U.S. pressure gradually eased it to allow the entry of food and humanitarian supplies. While Israel says it allows hundreds of truckloads of goods to enter Gaza each day, the United Nations said, and aid groups say they are often unable to reach or distribute it. Why? Just like he said, Hamas is stealing it. So your fact check just verified everything that he's saying. But listen to the rest of what he says, because that's very important.
And that's more than 3,000 calories for every man, woman, and child in Gaza. If there are Palestinians in Gaza who aren't getting enough food, it's not because Israel is blocking it, it's because Hamas is stealing it. So much for that lie, but here's another. The ICC prosecutor accuses Israel of deliberately targeting civilians.
Oh, and here's the next one. Oh yeah. Here we go. Because they came up with these early on. It's like they didn't watch the whole speech. They watched about half of it, and then they were just, I can't watch any more of this. So, the International Criminal Court, or ICC, prosecutors accuses Israel of deliberately targeting civilians. What in God's green earth is he talking about? What? The Israeli military has dropped millions of flyers, sent millions of text messages, made hundreds of thousands of phone calls to get Palestinian civilians out of harm's way, but at the same time, Hamas does everything in its power to put Palestinian civilians in harm's way. They fire rockets from schools, from hospitals, and mosques. Okay, and now here's their fact check. Oh, deadly Israeli strikes on homes affect multiple members of families at a time and nearly daily basis. Footage has shown soldiers shooting and killing Palestinians who are waving white flags or appeared to pose no threat to Israeli troops. Okay, now this is what their fact check is saying. This is what their fact check is saying. But listen to what he talks about. So, fact checker, you're correct in a way. But listen to what he tells the ICC that the fact checker would not dispute. It's what they don't dispute that becomes more important.
What in God's green earth is he talking about? The IDF has dropped millions of flyers, sent millions of text messages, made hundreds of thousands of phone calls to get Palestinian civilians out of harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Hamas does everything in its power to put Palestinian civilians in harm's way.
So they took
They fire rockets from schools, from hospitals, from mosques. They even shoot their own people.
And you notice that they didn't quote him in this.
When they try to leave the war zone, a senior Hamas official, Fatih Hamad, boasted, listen to this, he boasted that Palestinian women and children excel at being human shields. His words, excel at being human shields. What monstrous evil. For Israel, every civilian death is a tragedy. For Hamas, it's a strategy. They actually want Palestinian civilians to die, so that Israel will be smeared in the international media.
Yes.
Be pressured to end the war before it's won. This
Yes.
would enable Hamas to survive another day, and as they vowed, to carry out October 7th again and again and again. Well, I want to assure you, no matter what pressure is brought to bear, I will never allow that to happen.
And you notice the fact checkers had nothing to say about that. Like I said, the fact checkers are only going to fact check little portions of it that, sort of ride the red line, but not the whole story. Like, Israel is in it to win it. They're not in it to push back. They said, we're not going to tolerate this until Hamas is gone. We're not going to allow these people to attack our country again and again and again. The time of playing is over. If you want a ceasefire, you got to listen to what this man says, because he is not playing with these people. It seems extreme, but sometimes if you're looking out for your country, you have to take extreme measures. And it's daunting.
The vast majority of Americans have not fallen for this Hamas propaganda. They continue to support Israel. And I want to say thank you, America, and thank you, senators and House members, who continue to support us, continue to support Israel, continue to support the truth, and see through the lies. But as for the minority that may have fallen for Hamas's conch job, I suggest you listen to Colonel John Spencer. John Spencer is head of urban warfare studies at West Point. He studied every major urban conflict. I was going to say in modern history. He corrected me, no, in history. Israel, he said, has implemented more precautions to prevent civilian harm than any military in history, and beyond what international law requires.
Amazing, huh? Fact checkers didn't check that, did they? Because it's no lie.
That's why, despite all the lies you've heard, the war in Gaza has one of the lowest ratios of combatants to non-combatants casualties in the history of urban warfare. And you want to know where it's lowest in Gaza? It's lowest in Rafah. In Rafah.
Now, we'll bring up this little bit right here, because what they're going to talk about right here. This is what they're going to say Netanyahu left out. He left out the security blunders under his watch that allowed Hamas to go and attack. He also boasted about the 135, but freed 7 of them in rescue missions, but left out the vast majority of those hostages were freed during a brief ceasefire in late November, although he's argued that military pressure on Hamas is the best way to free them. Neither did he mention the fact that Israel forces had mistakenly killed 3 hostages in December and left roughly 120 have languished. Yes, because you don't want to show all of the failings. Of course, they're talking about how many dozens have been during rescue missions. He did not describe the catastrophe that has befallen Gaza since the outbreak of the war. It doesn't matter. About 1.8 million of these 2.3 million have been displaced. It is not, this right here does not matter. He has explained this already, that he sends it, but Hamas stops it stops all of that from coming through. So yes, he did address this. He is speaking on the behalf of Israel. It's true that Israelis largely believe in the justice of the war, but support has grown for a ceasefire and include one that would end the war entirely. And he addressed that also. He's saying we're not stopping until they are gone, because we do not want them coming back. In fact, the public support for him has plummeted. He's not going by polls. He's going by what he thinks is right. He does not want this war. But whenever you go attacking somebody, you've backed them up against a wall, they are going to fight back. They will fight back. And they, of course, they want to talk about all of these problems that Israel is running into. Do you think maybe it's the problems that people like this reporter are creating? The misreporting, the bad fact-checking.
Rafah. Remember what so many people said? If Israel goes into Rafah, there'll be thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of civilians killed. Well, last week, I went into Rafah. I visited our troops as they finished fighting Hamas's remaining terrorist battalions. I asked the commander there, how many terrorists did you take out in Rafah? He gave me an exact number, 1,203. I asked him, how many civilians were killed? He said, Prime Minister, practically none, with the exception of a single incident where shrapnel from a bomb hit a Hamas weapons depot and unintentionally killed 24 people. The answer is practically none. You want to know why? Because Israel got the civilians out of harm's way, something people said we could never do, but we did it.
And fact checkers never fact check this one. Is it true? If fact checkers were going to deny it, then they could have tried denying this, but they didn't.
These heroes here today, the heroic soldiers of Israel, should not be condemned for how they're conducting the war in Gaza. They should be commended for it. I want to thank all of you here today who forcefully opposed the false accusations of the ICC and stood up for the truth. These lies are not only libelous, they're downright dangerous.
Yes.
The ICC is trying to shackle Israel's hands and prevent us from defending ourselves.
Yes, they are.
If Israel's hands are tied, America is next. And I'll tell you what else is next. The ability of all democracies to fight terrorism will be imperiled. That's what's on the line. So let me assure you, the hands of the Jewish state will never be shackled. Israel will always defend itself.
Yes.
My friends, in the Middle East, Iran is virtually behind all the terrorism, all the turmoil, all the chaos, all the killing. And that should come as no surprise. When he founded the Islamic Republic, Ayatollah Khomeini pledged, we will export our revolution to the entire world. We will export the Islamic revolution to the entire world. Now ask yourself, which country ultimately stands in the way of Iran's maniacal plans to impose radical Islam on the world? And the answer is clear. It's America, the guardian of Western civilization and the world's greatest power.
Yet, Joe Biden has started supplying them again. If you remember, it was under Trump. Trump made sure that we disarmed them of nuclear weapons. Good morning, Nosy Rosie. Oh, he gets to that too.
That's why Iran sees America as its greatest enemy. Last month, we heard a revealing comment, ostensibly about the war in Gaza, but about something else. It came from the foreign minister of Iran's proxy, Hezbollah, and he said this: "This is not a war with Israel. Israel," he said, "is merely a tool. The main war, the real war, is with America. Iran's regime has been fighting America from the moment it came to power. In 1979, it stormed the American embassy. It held scores of Americans hostage for 440
Exactly.
Since then, Iran's terrorist proxies have targeted America in the Middle East and beyond. In Beirut, they killed 241 U.S. servicemen. In Africa, they bombed American embassies. In Iraq, they supplied explosives to maim and kill thousands of American soldiers. In America, they actually sent death squads. They sent death squads here to murder a former Secretary of State and a former National Security Advisor. And as we recently learned, they even brazenly threatened to assassinate President Trump. But Iran understands that to truly challenge America, it must first conquer the Middle East. And for this, it uses its many proxies, including the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas. Yet in the heart of the Middle East, standing in Iran's way, is one proud pro-American democracy, my country, the State of Israel.
You know, so they'll keep showing the Republicans. They won't show the Democrats.
That's why the mobs in Tehran
Good morning, Connie.
chant death to Israel before they chant death to America. For Iran, Israel is first, America is next. So when Israel fights Hamas, we're fighting Iran. When we fight Hezbollah, we're fighting Iran. When we fight the Houthis, we're fighting Iran. And when we fight Iran, we're fighting the most radical and murderous enemy of the United States of America. And one more thing. When Israel acts to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons that could destroy Israel and threaten every American city, every city that you come from, we're not only protecting ourselves, we're protecting you.
And this is why we're allies with Israel.
My friends, if you remember one thing from the speech, remember this. Our enemies are your enemies. Our fight is your fight. And our victory will be your victory. Ladies and gentlemen, that victory is in sight. Israel's defeat of Hamas will be a powerful blow to Iran's axis of terror. Another part of that axis, Hezbollah, attacked Israel on October 8th, the day after the Hamas attack. It has launched thousands of missiles and drones against us. 80,000 of our citizens in northern Israel evacuated their homes, becoming effectively refugees in their own land. We are committed to returning them home. We prefer to achieve this diplomatically. But let me be clear. Israel will do whatever it must do to restore security to our northern border and return our people safely to their homes.
Yeah, you notice they didn't pan over to the Democrat side there. Chickens for KFC. There you go.
Last Friday, a third Iranian proxy, the Houthis, attacked Tel Aviv with a deadly drone. It exploded a few hundred feet from the American consulate, killing one person and injuring 9. On Saturday, I authorized a swift response to that attack. All our enemies should know this.
It should.
Those who attack Israel will pay a very heavy price. And as we defend ourselves, on all fronts, I know that America has our back. And I thank you for it.
Good morning, Reese.
All sides of the aisle. Thank you. My friends, for decades, America has provided Israel with generous military assistance. And a grateful Israel has provided America with critical intelligence that saved many lives. We've jointly developed some of the most sophisticated weapons on earth. I choose my words carefully. We've jointly developed some of the most sophisticated weapons on earth that help protect both our countries. And we also help keep American boots, we help keep Americans' boots off the ground while protecting our shared interests in the Middle East. I deeply appreciate America's support, including in this current war. But this is an exceptional moment. Fast-tracking U.S. military aid can dramatically expedite an end to the war in Gaza and help prevent a broader war in the Middle East. In World War II, as Britain fought on the front lines of civilization, Winston Churchill appealed to Americans with these famous words: "Give us the tools and we'll finish the job." Today, as Israel fights on the front line of civilization, I too appeal to America. Give us the tools faster and we'll finish the job faster. My dear friends, the war in Gaza could end tomorrow if Hamas surrenders, disarms, and returns all the hostages. But if they don't, Israel will fight until we destroy Hamas's military capabilities, end its rule in Gaza, and bring all our hostages home. That's what total victory means, and we will settle for nothing less. The day after we defeat Hamas, a new Gaza could emerge. My vision for that day is of a demilitarized and de-radicalized Gaza. Israel does not seek to resettle Gaza, but for the foreseeable future, we must retain overriding security control there to prevent the resurgence of terror, to ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel.
And you heard what he just said there, where everyone talks about, oh, they just want to resettle in Gaza. And you heard what he just said. That is not Israel's goal. Their goal is to put in security measures where they don't have this happen again. Thanks, Zach.
Have a civilian administration run by Palestinians who do not seek to destroy Israel. That's not too much to ask. It's a fundamental thing that we have a right to demand and to receive. A new generation of Palestinians must no longer be taught to hate Jews, but rather to live in peace with us. Those twin words, demilitarization and de-radicalization, those two concepts were applied to Germany and Japan after World War II, and that led to decades of peace, prosperity, and security.
Yes.
Following our victory, with the help of regional partners, the demilitarization and de-radicalization of Gaza can also lead to a future of security, prosperity, and peace. That's my vision for Gaza. Now here's my vision for the broader Middle East. It's also shaped in part by what we saw in the aftermath of World War II. After that war, America forged a security alliance in Europe to counter the growing Soviet threat. Likewise, America and Israel today can forge a security alliance in the Middle East to counter the growing Iranian threat. All countries that are at peace with Israel and all those countries who will make peace with Israel should be invited to join this alliance. We saw a glimpse of that potential alliance on April 14th.
Now, if you don't remember what this date is, April 14th is whenever the Abraham Accords were signed. That the Biden administration has pretty much crapped on. And said, oh, well, that Trump was nothing but about causing problems. Pay close attention to what he says here. Because he has to tread very carefully, knowing that there is that possibility that Trump will not be the next president. So he's going to tread very lightly here. Very, very lightly. And it's skillfully done.
Led by the United States, more than half a dozen nations worked alongside Israel to help neutralize hundreds of missiles and drones launched by Iran against us. Thank you, President Biden, for bringing that coalition together.
It's coming. It's coming.
The new alliance I envision would be a natural extension of the groundbreaking Abraham Accords. Those accords saw peace forged between Israel and 4 Arab countries, and they were supported by Republicans and Democrats alike.
It's true.
We could call... I have a name for this new alliance. I think we should call it the Abraham Alliance. I want to thank President Trump for his leadership in brokering the historic Abraham Accords.
Yep. Like I said, he's treaded lightly.
Like Americans, Israelis were relieved that President Trump emerged safe and sound from that dastardly attack on him, dastardly attack on American democracy. There is no room for political violence in democracies.
Well, and no, he complimented Biden on what Biden did, because Biden did send support. That was because there was a lot of pressure on him if he didn't. Because, as I said, we've signed an alliance with Israel. And if he didn't honor that, it would have tanked every single bit of support he had from the American people. Any amount of support that was coming in would have been gone. The Democrats have a large amount of Jewish support. They have a lot of support from Israel, which is waning. And had he not done anything, it would have been gone completely. That's why he did what he did. And kudos to him for doing it.
I also want to thank President Trump for all the things he did for Israel, from recognizing Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, to confronting Iran's aggression, to recognizing Jerusalem as our capital,
Yep.
and moving the American embassy there.
Yep. All of that. That is something that the Democrats just would not accept. They did not like that at all. Exactly.
That's Jerusalem, our eternal capital, never to be divided again.
Mm-hmm.
My dear friends, Democrats and Republicans, despite these times of upheaval, I'm hopeful about the future. I'm hopeful about Israel because my people, the Jewish people, emerged from the depths of hell, from dispossession and genocide. And against all odds, we restored our sovereignty in our ancient homeland. We built a powerful and vibrant democracy, a democracy that pushes the boundaries of innovation for the betterment of all humanity. I'm hopeful about America because I'm hopeful about Americans. I know how much the people of this country have sacrificed to defend freedom. America will continue to be a force for light and good in a dark and dangerous world. For free peoples everywhere, America remains the beacon of liberty its extraordinary founders envisioned back in 1776.
Mm-hmm.
Working together, I'm confident that our two nations will vanquish the tyrants and terrorists who threaten us both. As Israel's Prime Minister, I promise you this. No matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult the road ahead, Israel will not relent. Israel will not bend. We will defend our land. We will defend our people. We will fight until we achieve victory. Victory over liberty, rather victory of liberty over tyranny, victory of life over death, victory of good over evil. That's our solemn commitment.
And watch over here on the bottom right-hand corner, those flags right there. Those flags right there, down here in this bottom corner. Down here. I don't know if they'll show it, but those flags came down, were lit on fire and burned as they raised Palestinian flags. While Netanyahu was speaking. I don't know if they'll show it, but that's what happened.
And we will continue to work with the United States and our Arab partners to transform a troubled region from a backwater of repression, poverty, and war into a thriving oasis of dignity, prosperity, and peace. In this noble mission, as in many others, Israel will always remain America's indispensable ally. Through thick and thin, through thick and thin, in good times and in bad, Israel will always be your loyal friend, and your steadfast partner. On behalf of the people of Israel, I came here today to say thank you, America. Thank you for your support and solidarity. Thank you for standing in Israel, with Israel, in our hour of need. Together we shall defend our common civilization. Together we shall secure a brilliant future for both our nations. May God bless Israel, may God bless America, and may God bless the great alliance between Israel and America forever.
And that right there was his speech. Now I'm off to Mar-a-Lago. Yeah. And you'll notice that he moved away from it, and people are flocking over towards it where they tore down the American flags, and they'll pan off of it and they won't show it. You notice the American flags are gone? Because they came over to watch them burn. This is what happened during his speech. Yeah. During his speech, that's what they did. They came and they burned the American flags. It's called vote for person, not party. No one party has all the correct answers. You can't leave out anyone or their ideas. Facts. Democrats opposed the Civil Rights Acts and founded a certain group of white supremacists. It disgusts me to see our flags be burned. Yeah. It should. It should disgust you. That's the reason why they're doing it. They want to shock and awe, because it is getting to that point in the United States that it is more known. It is more known that we remain fucking dog, little bastards. This is part of the plan for these people to get you angry, to get you to do something radical. There's a reason why they'll keep slapping you in the face. And it'll come from all sides. It'll be mean, it'll be cruel, it's going to be very, very hard. And that's why whenever I tell people this, I mean this with all sincerity. No matter what they do, think about the outcome of what will happen if you respond in kind. Because it doesn't work both ways. It's not fair. It'll become very, very obvious very soon how unfair it is. Because as soon as you give any sort of response, you basically have become what they want you to become. They want to get a rise out of you. They want to get you angry. They want you to fight back. Because they're cowards. Stay within the law with the way that you behave. As even become more vigilant now and pay closer attention to what you're doing. If you go and you respond how they want you to respond, the response they want to get from Americans is not 10 guys pushing people away and keeping the American flag aloft. That's not the response they wanted. The response that they wanted was 10 American guys getting in a fight and beating the hell out of people. That was the response they wanted, but they didn't buy into it. Pay very close attention to how you act, because they will highlight all of the bad and ignore any of the good. They will ignore your press. They will ignore your leaders will ignore whenever you stand up to them. They'll ignore the antagonizing, the provoking that they do. They will ignore it because it won't matter at that point. And it takes it's that old adage, you have the ability to do very bad things. To show your strength, you don't have to do them. It's the strength it takes to not act out. It takes a lot. Yeah, just like January 6th. You know, this is going to become more trying as this gets closer to election. They are waiting for people to give a response. There's a reason why Joe Biden got out there and he had to say, we condemn, all this bad stuff on both sides. We don't want the violence. Although they bring the violence, they don't want it. For them, it's a necessary part of it. The violent rhetoric, the calling for death and destruction has been coming from the left for quite some time. And there's people that they know that will respond to threats. Don't buy into it. Don't fall into that trap. I'm telling you, there will be people that fall into that trap. They'll say, I've had enough, I'm doing something. Don't. Realize the outcome for it, because you will be lambasted for it. Yes. Exactly. Two awesome dogs. Talib called the DC protests peaceful. Burning the American flag, defacing monuments, yes, that is their idea of peaceful. All you need to do is just point it out. Go and clean up the mess that they make. But don't get up in their face. Don't engage in them. This is what they want. The left feeds off getting a reaction and claiming victimhood. There you go. Wallstorm has it right. That is exactly what they do. That is exactly what they're pushing for. They will feign and they will run and they will cower. They'll claim victimhood. Exactly. Don't play into their game. This is their goal, to get you to react violently. And you have to be much stronger than that. It is incumbent upon you to be much stronger than that. Silence is a wicked weapon. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And that's the problem. There's too many people that want to, if that happens in front of me, I'm going to do X, Y, or Z. Or they say, well, I'm just going to arm up and I have every right to do X, Y, or Z. Yes, but you also have to have the intelligence to know when to back off. Think about the optics of what you're about to do. Here's the thing. You see someone burning a flag, you go and you attack them and you beat the ever-living snot out of them. Do you think they're going to give two damns whether somebody was burning an American flag, or do you think they're going to pay attention to the snot getting beat out of them? Whenever they're burning down your buildings and destroying your home, do you think they're going to be concerned about your home being burned down or you coming out with guns a-blazing? This is why you have to be very vigilant of your actions every single day. Well, get ready to watch the stock market go to crap. You want to know why? Well, here we go. We'll show you here. Stock market today. Asian shares dive after wipeout on Wall Street as big tech skids. Tokyo. Asian shares dropped on Thursday morning trading, with Tokyo's benchmark losing more than 1,000 points at one point and closing down more than 3%. As pessimism set in over a nosedive on Wall Street, the U.S. stock indexes suffered their worst losses since 2022 after profits reports from Tesla and Alphabet helped suck momentum from Wall Street's frenzy around AI. In Asia, Japan's benchmark Nikkei lost 225 lost 3.3%. Australia lost down 1.2%. Among the region's technology shares, Samsung fell, Nintendo lost, Tokyo Electron tumbled. Profit expectations are high for U.S. companies broadly, but particularly so for the small group of stocks known as the Magnificent Seven, which is Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla, need to keep delivering powerful growth after being responsible for most of the S&P's growth. Freedom of expression is for the people who hate you. They have a right to burn it. I don't like it, but it is America. Yes, it is, and it's dangerous. Be vigilant of how you react to these people. The negative sentiment was exasperated by disappointed earnings from Google and Tesla. Recent strengthening of the yen, which also recovered from trading. Toyota dropped 2% in morning trading. Sony sank 4%. In currency trading, the U.S. dollar edged down 152.8 yen. The euro cost $1.08, little changed from $1.08. On Wall Street, the S&P tumbled 2.3 for its fifth drop in the last 6 days, closing down everything. It says profit reports from Tesla and Alphabet weren't disasters, but they raised questions among investors about which market heavyweight springtime results could fall short. How many disappointments we're likely to see? And they've said this multiple times. And stock trading is you wait until September, because you'll see big drops, and then in the fall things pick back up again. Most of the time you just hold on to what you got and don't panic sell. If you don't like the stock and you don't believe in it and you don't think that it's going to do good, get rid of it. But they want to set this is setting you up for seeing the stock market do something really funky where they have to shut down trading. And it's going to get hairy out there. And of course, then you have all this political unrest and unease. And again, I say this again, that they are looking for more things that are going to happen that are not going to be good. Not going to be good. Tonight, I'm going to have an interesting stream for you guys. It's going to be one of those, and I'm sure there will be some other stuff that comes out about this, but tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about a certain group of people, a very specific group of people in our government, and probably won't be what you think, although some might guess it. I think it should be pointed out, and it's a little scary to think about. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away. You'll just have to tune in tonight. 7:30. Well, maybe not. It might be a little bit later than 7:30. I have a meeting tonight that I have to go to. So if I set it up and I'm running late, forgive me. There's a reason why I'm running late. It's going to be hopefully as good as I can possibly get. I'm going to also try to do a little bit of an update about what's going on with my channel, where some of the stuff that I'm working on that I want to you'll find out tonight. Just come by tonight, hang out, shoot the shit. We'll have a good time. It's going to be it's going to be an interesting election cycle, an interesting stream, interesting people. Damn, I forgot to do that. I suck so bad. I meant to set this up where I could redirect you guys. Let me make sure that I've got this done because, well, I'm an idiot. And I tend to forget these things on a regular basis before I want to send you guys. Let's see. I think if I already didn't set it up, I did not. I thought I had this already set up to send you guys off to go see this. But, of course, I slack as always. It's gonna be an interesting night tonight. There we go. I got you guys set up to go see Mo is where I'm going to be sending you. Hey, Pam. Yep, U.S. code 700. Yep. I will tell you guys. I appreciate every single one of them. You stupid idiot. You a stupid idiot. Ren, yes. De nada. It's good to see all you fine folks, and I'm so glad that you could come by and spend a little bit of time with me. Sorry that I didn't cover a whole lot. It was all about Netanyahu's speech. A majority of it was, but I think it was very important to see that, and just remember that you'll be speaking with Biden at some point today. Probably Camel Toe will be speaking with her, and Friday he'll be speaking with Trump. They have a meeting set up that they're going to be talking about. Things are about to get crazy. Things are about to get really crazy out there, and be vigilant of the bad stuff that's coming your way. That's all I can say. Just be vigilant. I want everybody to be safe and secure, and we know that it probably won't happen. That there's going to be violent actions by people on one side or the other, and it's going to give you some upheaval. And just keep your head together, and pay attention to what you're doing, and be safe. I mean, just be safe. That's about the best I can say. Be safe out there. And I will see you guys hopefully tonight. Is it tonight? Is today Wednesday or Thursday? Today's Thursday, isn't it? Yeah, it's tonight. Damn, time flies when you're having fun. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you, or I'll see you, on the flip side. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Hit the like button on your way in. Go see Mo. Give her 2 thumbs up, and love you guys. Peace.
Now I gotta call somebody to come get me because my car turned into a spaceship and I don't know how to fly it. I'm not an astronaut.